Project Part 5. All right, so give me 5 minutes and we'll kind of go through, 7 minutes, we'll kind of go through this and we'll get out of here a couple minutes early. All right, so first of all, you're going to start off with whatever your data from Project Part 3. We are only dealing with the quantitative data. We're only going to deal with the numerical data for this one. So you have 2 numerical ones, the 2 categorical ones. We're not going to use that for this part. So we're going to cut and paste those. Do not cut and paste your count and your min and your max, just your data. And paste them into columns B, like the second column and the fourth column. Leave yourself some space in between so you can label stuff. So here, you're going to, in the first column, you're going to label as mean. You're just going to type in mean, the word mean. And then here you're going to find the mean, the average. So you're going to do equals average, and you're going to grab everything above it, right? All your data above it. And then you're also going to find the, you're going to find the rounded mean. So whatever this is, round it to 1 decimal place. And then you're going to find your median. Again, same thing, equals median, and grab the data above it. You're also going to find the mode, same way. Standard deviation, same way. And then you're going to also do the rounded standard deviation. So round that to 1 decimal place, because we need those for other stuff later. Then we're going to find the quartiles. So instead of finding the quartiles the way you guys have been, where you write out all your data and find the one in the middle and split your data perfectly in half, we're going to let the program do it for us. So we're going to do quartile of your selection, comma 1. That gives you your first quartile. Equals quartile and your selection, comma 3 gives you your third quartile. And then you're going to kind of print those out. One thing you're going to need to do is just select the cells you need and print that selection. But make sure that you, so go ahead and print it. Should look kind of like this. But then I also need you to show me the formulas. So when you show formulas, if I can do this. There's kind of a couple of keystrokes, and I would say try that first, and then we can ask questions later because people have different problems with different issues. But there's directions kind of how to do it. A couple of keystrokes. But here's the thing: if I have something in here, see how this average is cut off, and I can't see the formula? That's a big problem. I need to be able to read the formula when you print it. So you need to make that column wider. How do you do that? See how I'm bumping between columns D and E right here, my cursor? D and E right there. If you go between them, I have a black arrow down. If I go right between them, all I have is a line down with black arrows going both directions. If I left-click drag, I make that column wider. So you need to do that. Make it wide enough so I can read your whole formula. And then you guys are going to fill out this page here. You're going to write down your variable, and then you're going to write down the IQR for that first variable. The IQR, again, is Q3 minus Q1. That's your IQR. Write it in here. But then remember when we found the outliers, we need to compute what 1.5 IQRs is? So you're going to multiply that by 1.5, and that will give you 1.5 IQRs. And then if you remember, outliers are defined as numbers that are less than 1.5 IQRs below the Q1. So you're going to take your Q1 and subtract 1.5 IQRs that you computed up here. You're going to subtract it. That's going to be your lower cutoff. And then you're going to find your upper cutoff. You're going to take Q3 and you're going to add 1.5 IQRs, which you calculated up here. And you're going to write it in here. And then you're going to write down whether your data set had any outliers, any numbers less than this number or greater than this number, and list out what they are. Oh yeah, I had one. I had somebody who is 64 years old. They were an outlier, so you're going to write that in 64. Or maybe you're unlucky. You said, oh, I had a whole bunch of zeros for my something or others. Whatever. List out whatever you have. Okay, so you're going to do that for your first variable and then do it again for your second variable, same thing. And then the rest of part 5, you're just going to stick with just the variable you used in group C, the one you did the frequency polygon and the ogive for, the part 3 for. So that one you're going to write the name of the variable, write down the rounded mean and the rounded standard deviation that you just computed off your Excel sheet, and then you're going to figure out what the range is for data within one standard deviation of the mean. In other words, you have your mean, you're going to subtract a standard deviation, add a standard deviation, and those are the numbers that are going to go here. And you're going to subtract 2 standard deviations and add 2 standard deviations, and those are the numbers that are going to go here, and for the third one as well. Then you're going to literally count how many fall within one standard deviation. So if my standard deviation is, within one standard deviation goes from 63.4 to 68.9, then you're going to figure out how many things fall between 63.4 and 68. Whatever I just said. You're going to look through your data and you're going to count how many are in there. And I would recommend you use the equals count function, because then you can just do equals count and and if I want to count from here, I'll make this 43, and this is 48, 6. And I want to count how many were 45. Again, remember you do equals, count, parentheses, and you're going to grab all the ones that are between the two numbers you want. And hit enter, and it'll count them for you. Right? So then you have to count, physically count how many lie within 2 standard deviations. Do the same thing for within 3. How many is it? And then what is that as a fraction of the whole? So this many, I had 42 out of 123 or 124. So write the percent. So everyone agree with that? And then say whether or not that agrees with Chebyshev. So darn well better, because it's impossible not to. And then you'll do the same thing for the empirical rule. All right, so that is it for that. We'll let you guys go a few minutes early. Have a great weekend. We'll go over this more, some of this stuff, next class, but I wanted to at least get you guys a start on it.
When's the due date? You said the 17th?
It's due the day after your exam, the class after your exam.
So the 13th?
The class